Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling Talk, a pretty late edition of Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you from the U to the 2. First off, I want to apologize for the late video. It's been a busy week. I've been out of town this past weekend in Concord, North Carolina for the PWX Premier Wrestling Experience show, which was really, really good, by the way. It was actually great from pre-show to finish. I mean, just to point out a couple of things, the pre-show, there was a particular wrestler, I believe his name was Diego Hill. I don't know if y'all have heard of this guy, but this might be the next combination of Lio Rush and Ricochet. I mean, he was doing all sorts of high flying, the kip ups, the stuff you would normally see Ricochet and Lio Rush do. Combine those, and that's this guy Diego Hill. It was insane. It was really insane. The pre-show was a tag team match. It was him and somebody named Daniel Crossley going up against Jakob Hammermeyer, somebody that I knew from back when Chikara was still a thing, and Antonio Ace. That was the pre-show match, and I tell you, this Diego Hill guy was just wow. The high flying, it was crazy. He could be the next up and coming high flyer. It was amazing. But I mean, each of these matches were great. But I have to say, match of the night was Davey Richards versus Chip Day. That's right, Davey Richards returned. I know he returned to MLW, but he was at this show. And I tell you, it was a phenomenal match. And actually, Chip Day got the upset victory over Davey Richards. It was a long match and went back and forth, but Davey Richards, he still got it. He definitely still is the most intense wrestler that I've seen. Pardon me. Not only that, got an autograph from Davey Richards, and I got my picture taken with him. But yeah, the Lone Wolf is back in pro wrestling, and really cool to meet, really cool to talk to. We kind of chatted for a little bit. But yeah, great guy. Great guy. But that match was great. Wheeler Yuta was there. Got to see him. He went up against TJ Moss. That was a really good match. And the besties in the world went up against the Heat Seekers for the PWX tag team titles. The besties in the world. Let me tell you what. Even though they didn't win this match, their double team moves were incredible. Picture this. Picture one guy giving his tag team partner an Xplex. You know, that same Xplex that Pete Dunne does? Gave him an Xplex until his opponent, the way he suplexed him into a stunner on the opponent. I've never seen that before in my life until Saturday night. That was one of the craziest double team moves I've ever seen in my life. So I was just wowed. I was wowed the entire time. JD Drake, Ethan Page went toe to toe. Very entertaining match. Danny Jordan, who's been on AEW Dark quite a couple of times, went up against the pure champion Savannah Heavens. The main event was TJ Boss versus Montana Black versus John Davis for the PWX World Heavyweight Championship. Triple threat. Insane match, and John Davis ended up winning John Davis, I knew from back when he used to wrestle in Evolve and in Dragon Gate USA. So still a beast of a guy. And I was actually really happy to see him win. He did excellent. Really excellent. Fred Yehai, we got to see him. And it was a great show. It was a great show. Pardon me. But what is really amazing is just every now and then PWX will have a couple of surprise appearances. Like Thin Juice has wrestled in PWX, Jushin Thunder Liger, Rocky Romero, like so many different names have wrestled in PWX. So I highly recommend Premier Wrestling Experience. Check them out. Definitely check them out. They have a lot of shows in North Carolina, South Carolina, Concord area, Gastonia, Rock Hill. Definitely check them out. Totally worth it. I truly believe you won't be disappointed. I remember seeing Colby Carino, Shotzi Blackheart, Lindsay Snow. I mean, a lot of different names. A lot of different names. Totally worth it. Okay, so on to the main event of topics, or the main card, I guess you could say. You have to excuse me. My voice is it's a little hoarse from all the cheering and yelling and screaming from last night. Still hasn't fully recovered yet, so bear with me. So, I'm gonna talk a little bit of Stardom, just a little bit. Gonna talk some New Japan Pro Wrestling. We had Wrestle Grand Slam that just took place, so I'll recap that. We had night 2 of Fight for the Fallen with AEW, so I'll recap that. And just a really weird week for WWE. A really weird week. So we're gonna get into all of that. So Stardom. So folks at Stardom World have been kind of slow to upload a lot of the July 21st, 22nd, and I think they've only uploaded all of July 25th's shows, so hopefully I can get to the 21st and 22nd ASAP and recap all of those soon, but can't see them yet until they're on Stardom World, so you know how that is. But what I can say, talk a little bit about the 5-Star Grand Prix coming up, which is actually starting July 31st. So, going over the competitors. For the red block, you have Julia, Mayu Iwatani, Momo Watanabe, Fuki Kendef, Saki Kashima, Starlight Kid, Himeka, Natsupoi, Koguma, and Mina Shirakawa. So it's good to see Natsupoi and Himeka will be returning to action for this 5-Star Grand Prix. So it'll be good to see them again. For the blue block, Utami Hayashishita, Shuri, Tam Nakano, Saya Kamatani, Maika, Azumi, Konami, Unagi Sayaka, Ruoka, and special guest Takumi Iroha. Or Takuma Iroha. Takumi. Takumi Iroha. I wanted to make sure I said that name correct. That's your blue block. Blue block. Pardon me. So, those are your competitors for this year's 5-Star Grand Prix. Now, of course, if you look back to last year, Utami Hayashishita won last year's 5-Star Grand Prix and went on to dethrone Mayu Iwatani to become the World of Stardom champion. So, who's going to do it this year? To give my prediction, Who do I think is going to win the red block and the blue block? Who I think the two finalists will be? It's tough. Um, to be honest, the blue block, I could see Shuri winning. Honestly, I think Shuri might win the whole thing, and then maybe she goes on to dethrone Utami Hayashishita. I would like to see that. But if not, Shuri, uh, I don't know. Maybe Konami or Micah, perhaps. For the red block, honestly, I would like to either see, and this might sound crazy, out of the red block, I would like to either see Saki Kashima or even Momo Watanabe. I would love to see either of those two make the finals for the red block, or even potentially win it, or even win it. But this is going to be a really big league tournament, league style tournament. So, and it'll be round robin style. Everybody in the red block will face each other once. Everybody in the blue block will face each other once. The wrestler in the red block that has the most points and the wrestler from the blue block that has the most points will face each other in the finals. Winner wins the 5-star Grand Prix and goes on to challenge for the World of Stardom Championship. So, and of course, you know, the current champion is Utami Hayashishita. But honestly, I would love to see Shuri win and eventually win the red belt, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I mean, she has Utami in the same block as her, so. And it'll also be interesting to see how well Takumi Iroha does, you know, as the special guest in this tournament. But should be good. Should be really good. But yeah, that'll start July 31st. So looking forward to that. And I think the finals isn't until sometime in like late September. But yeah, should be good. But that's it for Stardom for now. Let's talk about Wrestle Grand Slam in the Tokyo Dome for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Here, let me pull that up. But so a couple of changes. Unfortunately, Kota Ibushi wasn't able to compete for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. So his replacement ended up being the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. So just wanted to point that out. They started out with the KOPW 2021 match. That was a New Japan Rambo, so pretty much kind of like a Royal Rumble, with handcuffs as well. There were 22 entrants. And the way that you can eliminate your opponent is by pinfall, submission, throw them over the top rope, or you could handcuff them to either of the handcuffs on the ring ropes or on the guardrails outside of the ring. So you got a couple of different ways to eliminate your opponent. And a new opponent comes in every 1 minute. It was either every 1 minute or 2 minutes. I think it was 1 minute. But a new opponent comes in. And there's 22. And we had all sorts of folks. I mean, Chase Owens started out the whole thing. He was the first entry. He started out the whole thing. And I believe Toru Yano was the last one to come in. But yeah, we had all sorts of people. Dick Togo, we had Tomaki Honma, we had Hiroshi Tenzan. We had Yuji Nagata. I mean, we had a whole bunch of different folks. Doki, Minoru Suzuki. I mean, it was 22 people. But normally, Toru Yano has a way of escaping away with the win, but no, 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 no. Not this time. Chase Owens actually won and is your new KOPW 2021 champion. It's incredible. First entrant and ends up winning the KOPW trophy. What a way to start off Wrestle Grand Slam. It was crazy. But Toru Yano has been dethroned. And now Chase Owens of the Bullet Club. Your KOPW champion. The next match was for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. The champs, Bullet Club's Bone Soldier Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo, defended against Ryusuke Taguchi and Rocky Romero. This was overall a pretty good match. I'm a big fan of Rocky Romero. I'm pretty big on him whenever he wrestles, or just his presence. Great guy. But El Phantasmo and Bone Soldier were just too much for these two. They gave it a good effort, but Bullet Club's going to be Bullet Club. Phantasmo took advantage of a low blow, hits the CR2, gets the victory to retain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. It was about a 20-something minute match. Really good match, though. But not surprised at the outcome. Pardon me. We had a singles match between Kazuchika Okada and Jeff Cobb. And honestly, this was a pretty decent match. Okada did come away with the victory, but it wasn't really in true Okada fashion. You got just, pretty much a roll-up. But still, it was still a pretty dang on good match. Just not really the kind of finish that I was hoping for. But it was still pretty good. It was still a pretty good match. And, I would love to see these two go at it with a much better finish between the two. But the match itself was alright, just wasn't a fan of the finish. But Okada got the victory. Next up, we had the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles on the line. As the champs, Sonata and Tetsuya Naito defended against the Dangerous Tekkers of Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi. I gotta be honest. Is it me, or has these tag titles been hot potatoed quite a bit? Because it wasn't that long ago that the Dangerous Tekkers got him back, then lost him. And then in this match, they get him right back. That's right. Once again, the Dangerous Tekkers are the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champs. I don't know. I just feel like these tag titles have been hot potatoed quite a bit. And it was kind of a bummer, too, because, Tetsuya Naito did the promo about, really just getting back into the tag team division, and then their first defense of these titles, and they lose to the Dangerous Tekkers. It's like, geez, what the heck? I mean, it was a good match. It was back and forth. Zack Sabre Jr. got the pin, reversing the Destino from Naito, but it's like, dang. I feel like these tag titles get hot potatoed quite a bit lately, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I really wasn't a fan. Also, I skipped one. I accidentally skipped one. And this was a big one. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. A returning Robbie Eagles got a shot against the champ, El Desperado. And I gotta be honest, I did not see this one coming one bit. I did not see this coming, but after back and forth, especially with how much El Desperado was working on Robbie Eagles' ankle, Robbie Eagles was able to hit the Ron Miller special. He put that submission on Desperado at least a good 3 or 4 times before he finally was able to get him to tap out. But yeah, made El Desperado tap out. And Robbie Eagles is your new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. And his return. I did not see that coming one bit. That shocked the mess out of me. But let's also keep in mind that it was announced at the beginning of the show that Hiromu Takahashi is cleared to compete, and he wants a shot. He wanted a shot against the winner of this match. So it looks like we're going to be looking forward to Robbie Eagles defending that title against Hiromu Takahashi. Now, I really hope this doesn't mean that Robbie Eagles is a transitional champion for Hiromu. I really hope that's not the case, because I would like to see Robbie Eagles have a run, even if it's a short one, maybe 3 defenses in. But I really hope that he gets to hold on to it and at least has 1 or 2 successful defenses. But yeah, for the first time ever, Robbie Eagles, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Congrats to him, and welcome back. And of course, the main event, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Shingo makes his first official defense against the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Like I said, it was supposed to be Kota Ibushi, but due to health concerns and such, had to back out. But this was still an incredible match. I mean, Hiroshi Tanahashi still going to give you an incredible match. And this was nothing short of it. This was a good 35, 36 minute match or so. And I tell you, it was amazing. It was back and forth. It was hard hitting. But Shingo was able to hit the last of the dragons on Okada to seal the deal. And that completes his first successful defense of the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. So kudos to Shingo. And then, as he was doing his promo, the lights go off, and then Evil appears in the ring, hits Shingo with the Everything is Evil, and it looks like Evil is inserting himself next in line to challenge Shingo Takagi for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. So that didn't take long to determine a second challenger. Should be good. Should be really good. Shingo and Evil should be really good. But that's your Wrestle Grand Slam in the Tokyo Dome. Pretty dang on good show. Really good show. Like I said, I did not expect Robbie Eagles to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, but hey, I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. Let's move on to the semifinals of Tag Team Turbulence. So you had Brody King and Chris Dickinson, Violence Unlimited, going up against the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs. And it was pretty back and forth. Definitely a match I was enjoying. Just a little over 10 minutes. But Brody King hit the monster lariat. A big old monster lariat on Jarrell Nelson. and was able to pick up the victory. And Violence Unlimited has punched their ticket to the finals of Tag Team Turbulence. You had the second semifinal match, which was the Good Brothers versus Yuji Nagata and Ren Narita. And despite a great effort from Nagata and Narita, a Magic Killer finished off Ren Narita, and the Good Brothers were able to get the victory and punch their ticket to the finals of Tag Team Turbulence. So, your finals: Violence Unlimited, the Good Brothers. And this should be an incredible match. I like this combo. This should be a really, really great match. We also had the Strong Openweight Championship defended, as the champion, Filthy Tom Lawler, defended against Satoshi Kojima. And Kojima-san's been quite busy lately. I mean, between Japan, the LA dojo, Impact Wrestling, he's been busy. He's been very busy. And this was a great match. This was a great back and forth match. But Tom Lawler, of course, with JR Kratos, had to interfere a little bit. Tom Lawler was able to put the rear naked choke and make Satoshi Kojima pass out and retain the Strong Openweight Championship. So, good match, but rear naked choke. Kojima-san passes out. Key thing to note, backstage, as JR Kratos and Filthy Tom Lawler were there, Lio Rush came in, and Lio Rush wants a shot at that title. Now, of course, Filthy Tom Lawler, they didn't really give him an answer, but hey, this may have been, I don't know if this was Lio Rush's last match, because of course we all know Lio Rush, has announced that he was going to finish his obligations with New Japan Pro Wrestling and then he's going to retire. I don't know if this is one of them, but he challenged for this title, so hopefully he gets a chance. Him and Filthy Tom Lawler should be good. Should be really good. I hope he gets a shot. I really do. But we'll see what happens. But we got the finals of Tag Team Turbulence next week. So we got that to look forward to. We still got some more of Summer Struggle throughout August. And then we got Resurgence, August 14th. Remember, Switchblade Jay White's going to defend the Never Openweight Championship against Dave Finlay. So we got that to look forward to. They're going to do Wrestle Grand Slam in the MetLife Dome in September. And then they've already announced we got the G1 Climax that will begin September 18th and will last all the way up to October 21st. So G1 Climax, another big New Japan Pro Wrestling tournament. So that should be excellent. Got a lot to look forward to. All right, let's move on to AEW. Now, we had night 2 of Fyter Fest, which was good. Overall, it was really good. So, Chris Jericho went through the first of the 5 laborers of Jericho, which was a match against Shawn Spears, which, of course, Shawn Spears can use a chair as a weapon. Jericho can't. So that's the advantage that Shawn Spears has. But despite having that edge, Shawn Spears still wasn't able to get the job done. Chris Jericho passes the first test, gets the victory in this match. And yeah, passes the first test. So that's Labor of Jericho number 1. And after that match, MJF announced number 2, his next task will be a no disqualification match against Nick Gage. That's right, Nick Gage, known very well for death matches, came out into the arena, had a pizza cutter in his hand. I mean, this dude is insane. Known for death matches, he even robbed a bank once, served some jail time. Like, this Nick Gage is like, it's crazy. But that is Jericho's next labor of Jericho. So, and that's going to be next week, this week, this Wednesday at Fight for the Fallen. So I'll get a chance to see that. I'm gonna be in Charlotte for that. So that's going to be excellent. It's gonna be, and it's no disqualification. Shoot, it's probably gonna get bloody. It's gonna get bloody. All right. We had the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian, going up against Doc Gallows of the Good Brothers. And, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, Carl Anderson got involved. I mean, as expected. But Gallows was able to hit the power bomb on Kazarian to get the win. But like I said, I'm not surprised that Carl Anderson interfered. And of course, they finished the job together, hitting Kaz with a magic killer. And then you had Kenny Omega and Don Callis come out. They got on the mic and, talk smack to Frankie Kazarian because, lately he's been kind of interfering, attacking the Elite. He's known as the Elite Hunter. And of course, Hangman Adam Page, and he came out. The Dark Order ran out as well. Of course, Hangman Adam Page came out, had a beer in his hand, tried to take on the Elite by himself, but suffered to the numbers game until the Dark Order came out to help clear house. So, nice little segment there. But apparently, in an interview with Brian Cage, it was brought to our attention that Ricky Starks is going to be having a FTW championship celebration, and that Brian Cage said, "I love celebrations, so I expect that he's going to interfere." So got that to look forward to this Wednesday. You had Wheeler Yuta go up against Darby Allin. Wheeler Yuta has been very busy. He was just at PWX last night. So he's been busy. He's been very busy. But had a pretty decent match against Darby Allin. But of course, Darby Allin got the victory with the coffin drop. But it was a good back and forth match. And then out of nowhere, the Blade came in and hit Orange Cassidy with the brass knuckles. Of course, Orange Cassidy was accompanying Wheeler Yuta as Sting was in Darby Allin's corner. 1 second. Sorry about that. But yeah, Blade came in, cracked Orange Cassidy with the brass knucks, and that ended that segment. You have the AEW Women's World Championship match as the champ, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defended against the Native Beast, Nyla Rose. This was an incredibly good match. This was back and forth, and just when you thought Britt Baker might get beat, she kicked out. I mean, she kicked out of everything, including the Beast Bomb. And even Nyla Rose kept fighting out of the lockjaw attempt. But, sure enough, Britt Baker didn't give up. Kept going and going. Was kicking out of everything and fighting back. And she legit ended up locking in lockjaw for good. And the Native Beast actually tapped out. That's right. And there you have it. Britt Baker, first successful defense and her first victory over Nyla Rose. This is the first time that she's beaten Nyla Rose since being a part of AEW. So this is incredible. This is big. Not only her first defense, but her first time beating Nyla Rose. So y'all, that's crazy. She's made Sheeta tap out to win the title, and she's made Nyla Rose tap out, both to lockjaw. It's crazy. It's really crazy, but the wave of success is bigger and bigger now on Dr. Britt Baker, and even though supposedly she's supposed to be the heel, fans love her. She's got a big following. So, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, still champion. So, we had a verbal exchange between Proud and Powerful and FTR, and of course, they have a match for this Wednesday at Fight for the Fallen. Looking forward to that. FTR coming back home to North Carolina to go up against Proud and Powerful, and I'm sure this is going to have great implications for future tag team title shot. So keep an eye out for that. We had a segment with Andrade El Idolo in the ring, who announced that he has a new executive consultant who turned out to be Chavo Guerrero. That's right. Eddie Guerrero's nephew, Chavo Guerrero, is siding with Andrade El Idolo, and this is excellent. This is excellent. Vicky Guerrero introduced him into AEW, and now Chavo Guerrero is his executive consultant. Wow. I love this combo. I love this combo. So, Chavo got on the mic. Happy to be with AEW. Happy to be with Andrade. Death Triangle comes out. And pretty much, they go back and forth. And Andrade is really trying his best to recruit the Lucha Bros to join him. But, as we know so far, the Lucha Brothers aren't biting. They're staying by Pac's side. And I'm pretty sure it's not over between the two. But it is clear that Andrade's mission is to break up Death Triangle and get the Lucha Bros to join him. Which I think could potentially happen. But if the rumors are true, like I heard about AEW making a trios championship, I really want to see Death Triangle win those titles. But that's only if that happens. That's only if that happens. But I would love to see Death Triangle win those trios titles, if that's something that does happen. We got another match announcement after this segment of Christian Cage and Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, as they will be teaming up to go up against Angelico and Private Party this Wednesday at Fight for the Fallen. Let's see. And then there was a segment with QT Marshall, which, I don't know, was kind of dumb. Was going to apologize to Tony Schiavone for dumping protein shake on his head. Just, I don't know, it was kind of dumb. We had a match between Orange Cassidy and The Blade, which, of course, The Blade clocked him one earlier with the brass knucks. And, these two have been really going at it quite a bit lately. You know, these two have been going at it. The Bunny and Chris Statlander have been going at it. So, doesn't really surprise me. But, the interesting thing was Chris Statlander was in Orange Cassidy's corner, and it served to really help out because even though the Bunny was trying to get the brass knucks again to the blade, I mean, you have Chris Statlander there, and Orange Cassidy was able to overcome those odds and got the victory after an orange punch. And you know, not only did he clock him with the orange punch, but was able to hit him again with the brass knucks. Orange Cassidy had the brass knucks on, clocked the blade one with the brass knucks. So definitely best friends with the momentum over the blade and the Bunny, which I still hope that at some point the Butcher returns. I don't know if he's been injured. I don't know if he's been just touring, but we need the Butcher back. The Butcher back. We need the Butcher back. That's all I'm going to say. But still pretty decent match. And then the main event. We had a Texas-style death match for the IWGP United States Championship. Jon Moxley defended the title against the Murder Hawk monster, Lance Archer. And I tell you, this was incredibly brutal. I mean, there were tables, there was a fork even, there was barbed wire. I mean, it was brutal. But hey, Texas Deathmatch, what'd you expect? But these two were tearing each other apart. And sure enough, Lance Archer was able to choke slam Jon Moxley through two tables that had two sheets of barbed wire on them. Wasn't able to get up to answer the 10 count. And your new IWGP United States Champion for the second time, the Murder Hawk monster Lance Archer dethrones Jon Moxley. It was incredible. Not only that, Bullet Club's Hikuleo was in attendance watching this match. He gets into the ring, and we now know that for this Wednesday, Hikuleo will get a shot for the IWGP United States Champion against Lance Archer, the new champion. Honestly, what I think this was, and I could be wrong, but Lance Archer may be going back to Japan at some point. But not only just that, I think that Jon Moxley is going to take some time off and be with his child. Because remember, him and Renee Paquette had their baby not too long ago. So I'm sure he's going to want some time off, some legit time off to be with his family. So that's why I think he dropped the belt. I could be wrong, but I think that could be why he may have dropped the belt to Lance Archer. And they had a nice little sportsmanship segment afterwards. It was really cool. But Lance Archer is now a two-time IWGP United States Champion. And that's Dynamite. Looking real forward to Fight for the Fallen in Charlotte. Like I said, I'll be there. Me and my dad are going. I'll probably see some friends of mine there as well. I'm looking forward to it. So, should be great. Okay. Let's look at some WWE, I guess. I'm going to tell you right now, Raw was very wacky and very all over the place. John Cena came out, issued a challenge to Roman Reigns. Him and Riddle had a bro moment, which was just so random, but whatever. You had Riddle and the Viking Raiders go up against AJ Styles, Omos, and Johnny Drip Drip. But, of course, Riddle and the Viking Raiders get the victory. There was a segment where The Miz accidentally sprayed Omos with the dripstick. So I thought that was kind of funny. And not only that, Johnny Drip Drip now has a shirt called America's Moist Wanted. I'm sorry, but that sounds freaking weird. That sounds weird. We had a Symphony of Destruction match. Was Jackson Riker going up against Elias. Which, of course, the last Symphony of Destruction match that they had was Elias versus Jeff Hardy on SmackDown, if I remember correctly. So they had this match. Jackson Riker and Elias. Of course, Symphony of Destruction match. No disqualification. There's a whole bunch of instruments you can use as weapons. I mean, there's a piano, there's drums, there's cellos and violins and flutes and all sorts of stuff. There's a gong. All sorts of stuff. And it's also under Falls Count Anywhere rules. And once again, Jackson Riker gets the victory. Jackson Riker hit a suplex through tables onto the outside and gets the pin. So, how many more times are we going to see Jackson Riker beat Elias? Elias has yet to win one match against Jackson Riker, and they've wrestled each other at least a good 4 or 5 times now. Even 2 of those, Elias intentionally counted himself out. Like, I think it's safe to say that Elias just might be buried. I mean, you couldn't even get one win on Jackson Riker. Not even one. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You have the women's tag team champs, Natalya and Tamina, go up against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Shayna gets pinned for like the 30th or 40th time. Reginald tried to cause a distraction, but backfired. Shayna Baszler gets upset. It's pretty much done with Reggie. Reggie tries to go to Nia for comfort, and it looks like Nia was comforting him. And then she lays him out. Just lays him out. So it looks like Nia and Shayna are completely done with Reginald. And then out of nowhere, here comes Ninja Tozawa, Akira Tozawa, running away from other competitors, considering he's the 24/7 champ. And then Reggie was able to take advantage, roll up Tozawa, and now Reginald is your new 24/7 champion. Like, what the heck? He gets dumped by Nia and Shayna, and now he's 24/7 champion. How crazy is that? Of course, he did all the flips and stuff to get away from everybody and such, but yeah. Here we go again. Sheamus and Humberto Carrillo in a championship contenders match. Which, of course, Sheamus won. I don't know how many times we have to keep feeding Humberto Carrillo to Sheamus in order for Humberto to even have a match. And it's just eating loss after loss after loss after beatdown after beatdown after beatdown. Why? I guess they're not going to give Sheamus any legitimate challenge anytime soon, but anyway, we had Bobby Lashley come out and issue an open challenge. And guess who answers the open challenge? A big, shocking, surprising, returning Keith Lee. Wow, did not see that one coming. But Keith Lee. Now, keep in mind, this episode of Raw was in Dallas, Texas. Keith Lee is from Texas. Now, he comes, he has a match with Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley beats him in about 6 or 7 minutes. Are you kidding me? You have Keith Lee return for him to get beat by Lashley. And his return match in his home state. And you have Keith Lee lose. What the heck? I understand Lashley just destroyed Kofi. I get it. You know, he's a beast. Keep him strong. But you're going to have him beat Keith Lee in 6 or 7 minutes? Really? Really? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I do not get it one bit. I don't get it. And then afterwards, Goldberg comes out, gets in Lashley's face, and says, I'm next. I'm going to tell you right now, if Goldberg ends up dethroning Lashley and winning the title, I'm going to pitch a fit. I'm going to pitch a fit. Just crazy. Just crazy. My God. And then an even crazier thing happens. Karrion Kross has his debut match against Jeff Hardy, which, by the way, brought back his No More Words entrance theme. A great theme, by the way. You have the undefeated NXT champion Karrion Kross in his main roster debut match against Jeff Hardy. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Jeff Hardy. I love my North Carolinians. They're easily in my top 10 favorite tag teams of all time. And I don't even think the match lasted 5 minutes. And Jeff Hardy rolled up Karrion Kross. Yes, I understand he used his feet on the ropes. But got the 3 count and defeated Karrion Kross. By the way, that night was his birthday as well. You have your undefeated NXT champion lose his debut match on the main roster from a roll-up on his birthday in about 5 or so minutes, or less. And y'all wonder why folks aren't so quick to go from NXT to the main roster. When will the WWE marks realize that? You wonder why nobody doesn't want to go to the main roster. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano. Shoot, Io Shirai probably doesn't even want to go to the main roster, I bet. Ember Moon. These folks don't want to go to the main roster because of crap like that. You can't make this stuff up. My God. And then the main event, Rhea Ripley got a rematch for the Raw Women's title against Charlotte Flair. And I wouldn't say that this was as great of a match as their meeting at Money in the Bank. But Charlotte Flair got herself intentionally disqualified, hitting Rhea with the women's title. But Rhea Ripley was able to recuperate on the outside, attack Charlotte, and hit her with the Riptide. And while she was doing that, Money in the Bank holder Nikki ASH rushes down, cashes in, hits a crossbody from the top rope. Yeah, that's it. Just a crossbody. That's it. Literally. Just a crossbody. Onto Charlotte. Pin Charlotte for the 1, 2, 3. And Nikki Cross, or ASH, is your new Raw Women's Champion. So this is now the third time ever in Charlotte's career that she's lost the title through a Money in the Bank cash-in after not having the title that long. Or after just winning the title. Because remember, the previous 2 times this has happened to her was Bayley and Carmella. And y'all wonder why I'm not a fan of Money in the Bank. I mean, kudos to Nikki Cross. I just am not a fan of how champions are made through Money in the Bank. And I'm not a fan of Nikki's current character. But I still love Nikki Cross, don't get me wrong. I just don't like the character. And the Money in the Bank is the cheesiest way to win the title. You know it's the cheesiest way. You don't really have to try. So, that was the most wacky, jacked up Raw I've seen. Which isn't saying much, because Raw generally is pretty trash. But, I mean, that last Raw was just nasty, stank trash. That's how bad it was. Anyway, NXT. Of course, she had Samoa Joe come out. He wants payback against Karrion Kross for putting him in the cross jacket. Mr. Regal is like, nah, you need to calm down. You know, if you're going to handle Karrion Kross, you handle it casually, peacefully. So, yeah. You do not want to deal with an angry Samoa Joe. Let me just tell you that. Kushida and Bobby Fish teamed up and beat Diamond Mines, Roderick Strong, and Tyler Rust. Thought that was pretty cool. Of course, Kushida made Tyler Rust tap out to the hoverboard lock. It's funny. Kushida and Bobby Fish, two rivals. I mean, their tag teams used to be rivals of each other. You know, Red Dragon and the Time Splitters. So it was interesting seeing these two team up. But hey, worked out nicely, and it was just good to see Bobby Fish on the winning side for once. Although I still don't think he should be jobbing to anybody. But this was a pretty good match. I'm just glad to see Kushida and Bobby Fish got the victory. You had Frankie Monet or Taya Valkyrie go up against JC Jane. Defeated JC Jane, used the pretty much that glam slam. And of course, Jessica Maya and Robert Stone were there, and they were, talking about. Of course, Mandy Rose was also there, laying down on the commentary desk, looking all good and everything like that. But who knows? Maybe the thought of maybe Mandy Rose and Taya Valkyrie as a team or part of the group. But then, of course, Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter come in, and they pretty much want to remind Taya Valkyrie that we're the next up and coming team. So get in the back of the line, work your way up, sort of thing. It's good to see Caden and Casey get some backstage time. Was definitely digging that. 1 second. Austin Theory and Kyle O'Reilly had a match. Of course, Kyle O'Reilly did his thing. Was able to defeat Austin Theory. But it was a good match. Definitely was a good match. Was able to lock in the heel hook on Austin Theory, made him tap out. And man, he had that thing cinched in good too. I was like, ugh, ouch. We had a segment with Legado del Fantasma acting like they were going to do a mariachi fiesta celebration, which they didn't end up doing that. They were talking junk. And then out comes Hit Row. Now, this was interesting. So Hit Row comes out, confronts Legado del Fantasma, and they started to brawl for a bit, and Swerve was able to get the guitar shot. I believe it was on Walking Wild who took the hit. But this is pretty interesting because, I mean, is it safe to say that Hit Row are faces now? Because, I mean, they were supposed to be heels, but with them feuding with Legado de Fantasma, I guess Hit Row are faces now? I'm confused. Somebody. I think that's right. I think that's right. But I don't know. I don't know. It was quite an interesting segment, but Hit Row, Legado de Fantasma, they brawled. Walking Wild took a guitar shot. So, yeah. Yeah. We had more NXT Breakout Tournament action as Odyssey Jones went up against Andre Chase, a.k.a. Harlem Bravado from North Carolina, one half of the Bravado brothers, who I've seen in Evolve before. I honestly thought Andre Chase was going to win this match, but nah. Another big dude, Odyssey Jones, was able to get the victory. So that's two big dudes advancing. It's like, come on now. Why the big dudes got to get all the love? But nah, Odyssey Jones got the victory, and he advances. We had LA Knight defeat Drake Maverick, and afterwards, he made Cameron Grimes hit and knock out Drake Maverick, because, of course, remember they had the deal. LA Knight defeat Cameron Grimes, and Cameron Grimes is his personal butler, which I really wonder how long he has left to be this butler. There wasn't like a duration limit or anything like that. So there's no telling how long this is going to last, but I'm sure it's going to last for a while. For a good while. And then you had the main event. Raquel Gonzalez defending the NXT Women's Championship against Xia Li. Now, of course, since Xia Li joined Tianxia, she's been undefeated. Since that whole gimmick change, or I guess you could say gimmick upgrade, Xia Li's been undefeated. And of course, she recently took out and defeated Mercedes Martinez. This match was actually pretty good, and I was really happy to see Xia Li in the main event. This is a first for Xia Li. She's never been in the main event on NXT, so this was a first for her. She held her own, did pretty well, but she took a pretty big bump when Raquel Gonzalez did the Vader bomb, the Vader splash. And the way she landed on Xia Li, it didn't look like she was quite ready to take the full force of the splash. And I thought she got the wind knocked out of her. The doctors were checking up on her. I know a lot of folks were saying that maybe she had cracked ribs or bruised or broken ribs. Thankfully, it took some time, but thankfully she was able to finish the match. Raquel hit the Chikunga bomb, retained the title. But word is they did get confirmation that Xia Li is okay. So thankfully, looks like she didn't have to be rushed to the hospital or anything like that. But that was a pretty scary segment. That bump, that spot, pretty scary. Because you got to remember, although Xia Li is in great shape, does martial arts, has great in shape body, Raquel Gonzalez is still a much bigger woman, much taller woman than Xia. So, Xia's a short girl, but I'm just glad she's all right. Like I said, I think she had just gotten the wind knocked out of her, but thankfully she's okay. So, and then we had one last segment where Samoa Joe, he was waiting for Karrion Kross to show up outside. A car pulled up. He pulled some random guy out who he thought looked like Karrion Kross. Came back to the ring. Was calling out Karrion Kross. Where are you? Where are you? Karrion Kross was up on the big screen outside of the building, and he took out William Regal. That's right. Camera panned on him. He was down on the ground at his feet. Karrion Kross left. Samoa Joe came outside, but, it was too late. And that's where NXT ended. I think it's definitely safe to say that Samoa Joe is getting ready to go back into in-ring action, and he's probably going to get a shot at the NXT title against Karrion Kross. I think that's what's going to happen. And the crazy thing is that means Samoa Joe will have the opportunity to become a 3-time NXT champion. So, we'll see what happens, but I honestly think it's safe to say that Samoa Joe is getting ready to return to the ring. I mean, he took the spot from the cross jacket from Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross took out William Regal. I'm really thinking this is going to lead to Samoa Joe. I think he's cleared and is going to get back in the ring and square off with Karrion Kross. Here's hoping. I would love to see it. Okay, on to NXT UK. So, they did give an update for Ilya Dragunov versus Walter for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. So, they said that Walter had a hand injury. I think they said it was either a broken hand or a fractured hand. But apparently, he's still going to be able to compete just at a later date. And we now know what that date is. So, August 22nd at NXT TakeOver 36, Walter will defend the title against Ilya Dragunov in the United States at the Capitol Wrestling Center. So, there you have it. They are finally going to square off again for the title. And to be honest with you, it would not surprise me if Ilya Dragunov dethrones Walter. I mean, just with this build-up and, having Walter hold the title a little bit longer until near the end of August, I think Ilya Dragunov dethrones him. I think he's gonna do it. I think he's gonna do it. Nina Samuels back in action. She defeated Laura Di Matteo, so it was good to see her back in action. We had a segment backstage with Xia Brookside and Blair Davenport. So, Blair Davenport talked about, the only reason why you're here is because your last name. So, looks like we're setting up a rivalry between Xia Brookside and Blair Davenport. That should be good, although I don't like seeing Xia Brookside lose so much, because I really want to see her grow and get some opportunities as well. Had the Supernova sessions where Noam Dar had Jenny and Joseph Connors there, which you would think 3 heels in the same room would be able to get along. Oh, no. That was not the case. Noam Dar pretty much kept trying to hit on Jenny, which, I mean, can you blame her? Can you blame him? But pretty much, Noam Dar was trying to figure out about their relationship, their partnership, and also Jenny clarified that, their relationship is professional and pretty much Jenny vowed to destroy Aoife Valkyrie. So, we'll see what happens with that. Should be good. Jenny and Aoife Valkyrie, looking forward to that. Speaking of Joseph Connors, he actually had a match against Tristan Archer, which Tristan Archer gave him a good fight. He gave him a good fight. This was not a match that Joseph Connors won easily. Let me just say that. But Joseph Connors eventually was able to hit the hierarchy and defeat Tristan Archer. But it was definitely a good back and forth match. But then afterwards, Aoife Valkyrie showed up, removed one of her feathers, and handed it to Jenny. So, the feather, you know what that means. Looks like Aoife Valkyrie is ready to answer the challenge and is ready to take on Jenny. Looking forward to it. Main event. NXT UK Tag Team titles on the line as Pretty Deadly went up against Subculture. Which, this was an excellent match. And this reminded me how much I miss Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster teaming up. Because you got to remember, those two are former NXT UK Tag Champs. And I tell you, I wish they would have had a longer run, but I like this tag team. This subculture with Danny Luna, I like this group. I really do. This was back and forth, and it really could have gone either way, but Pretty Deadly was able to retain. It was tough. It was really, really tough. But Pretty Deadly, still champs just a little while longer. But I love seeing Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews team up. They are an incredible tag team together. I mean, incredible. But overall, pretty decent episode of NXT UK. Can't say that I have a lot of complaints. SmackDown. SmackDown was weird. So, you had SmackDown in two locations. You had SmackDown in Cleveland, and you had SmackDown as part of that music festival, whatever it was, in Miami. I don't know why they did this, and I feel like the folks in Cleveland got robbed of a full live show experience. But that's WWE for you. John Cena started us off again. Still wanting Roman Reigns to answer his challenge. But got Paul Heyman in a nice, pretty funny segment where Paul Heyman even started singing Cena's theme. And, pretty much talked about how the head of the table will give him his answer on his time. You had Sami Zayn come out, run his mouth. Or actually, he ran his mouth last time. He actually had a match this time against Finn Balor, the Prince. The Prince. And it was back and forth a little bit, but of course Finn Balor got the victory, hit the coup de grace, wins over Sami Zayn. But yeah, so good to have Finn Balor back. And then they switched gears to Miami SmackDown, where they had Angelo Dawkins go up against Chad Gable, which they did have Montez in his corner. I thought this was going to be a tag team match because I was under the impression that Montez Ford was cleared now, but I guess not. But Angelo Dawkins did get the victory, hit a spine buster, and got the victory on Chad Gable. To be honest, they had that match, and they had Bianca Belair defend the SmackDown Women's title against Carmella, which, she was able to successfully defend and beat Carmella for a second time at this, which apparently was called the Rolling Loud Music Festival. But that crowd was not responsive at all to any of those matches. The crowd won't into it. I don't know if it was just there weren't any wrestling fans there, but that crowd was not into it at all. So I don't even know why in the heck they even did this in the first place, because that crowd was not into it. They weren't. They weren't into it. Anyway. It had a segment with Edge and Rollins. Pretty much, they're going to be going at it for a while because, Seth Rollins felt like Edge screwed him out of his opportunity for the title. So, they brawled for a bit. Edge hit an execution. But, yeah, they're gonna be going at it for a while. So Seth and Edge should be good. Toni Storm made her SmackDown debut, her main roster debut, which she debuted as a face again. She was slapping hands with the fans, so now she's a face again. And she made her main roster debut against Zelina Vega. I'm like, really? Why Zelina Vega? Zelina Vega just came back to WWE. Why y'all gonna have her job to Toni Storm? Like, that's kind of messed up. I don't know why they had to have Zelina Vega job to Toni Storm. But Toni Storm got there, did her thing, and apparently there's a name for her new finisher now. It's called the Storm 1. You know, of course, originally that Tiger Driver was Storm 0. Now her new finisher is Storm 1. Which this is a finisher that she's hit Zoe Stark with back on NXT. Cool finisher, too. Really cool finisher. Let's see. You had a match between Jimmy Uso and Dominic Mysterio, which Jimmy Uso got the pin on Dominic the same way they did before when they won the tag titles with the brother Jey Uso putting his legs on Jimmy for leverage. Literally the exact same thing. Then afterwards, we had the segment with Roman Reigns coming out to address John Cena's challenge. Pretty much gave a no. Said the answer is no. He declined John Cena's challenge. But out comes Finn Balor, who challenges Roman Reigns himself, and Roman accepts Finn Balor's challenge. So it looks like we got Roman Reigns' SummerSlam opponent. Roman Reigns defending the WWE Universal title against the very first Universal Champion, Finn Balor. This ought to be interesting. This ought to be really interesting. But like I said, Finn Balor was the first Universal Champion, and who did he beat to win? Seth Rollins. So it will be interesting to see how he does against Roman Reigns, but one would probably think that Finn Balor wasn't who people had in mind for his SummerSlam opponent. Now, of course, that might change, but I don't know. I doubt it. If it's going to be Finn Balor, nothing against Finn Balor. I love Finn Balor. I'm a big fan. But I don't think a lot of people expected Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Just saying. Just saying. But, anyway, that's it for that. A couple of more things I wanted to say before I end this. So, word is that Daniel Bryan has officially signed with AEW. Daniel Bryan, aka the American Dragon Bryan Danielson. If that's so, great. But apparently he's been getting a lot of backlash from WWE marks and folks that feel like he's turned his back on WWE and that WWE gave him everything and he's turning his back on them and selling out and such. Okay. I don't see how these WWE marks can say that, seeing as all that Daniel Bryan has accomplished in the WWE. Like, are you kidding me? Let me indulge y'all. Let me indulge y'all. Keep this in mind. Daniel Bryan's WWE career. He's a 4-time WWE champion. He's a 1-time World Heavyweight champion, a 1-time Intercontinental champion, a 1-time United States champion, um, a tag team champion with Kane, Team Hell No, a SmackDown tag team champion with Rowan. He's won Money in the Bank, and he's won 12 Slammy Awards. Not to mention, he's a Triple Crown and a Grand Slam champion. I would say he's had a pretty dang on solid run in the WWE. I would say so. So what if he wants to go to AEW? Like, what I think people fail to realize and understand, I get that sometimes where these wrestlers sign may not be where we would want them to be, but if you are a true fan of these wrestlers and they want to sign at certain places, you should be happy for them that they're going to where they feel they can be happy, be appreciated, and be successful. Oh my God. Y'all make it seem like unless you go to the WWE, you're never going to be a great wrestler or ever going to make it in the business. And that's bullcrap. Let these people go where they want to be happy and be successful at, regardless of whether it's WWE or an indie promotion. If you say that you're fans of these wrestlers, you should be able to support them wherever they go. Like I said, I don't like a lot of places, that some of these superstars go to as well. Cedric Alexander, look at how he's been done on the main roster. But you know what? I will still support him wherever he goes because I'm a Cedric Alexander fan. Might not always be a fan of the promotion he's part of, but I support him. And that's just an example. That's just an example. If you are truly a fan of these wrestlers, you should be willing to support wherever they go. So what if it's not your favorite promotion? If they're going somewhere to a different promotion where they're happier, can make good money, can be successful and appreciated, that's excellent for them. They're at the right spot. And guess what? That spot can possibly not be WWE. And that's what it could be like for Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson. So all these people that keep saying, oh, he's selling out, or same thing that they said with Selena Vega, oh, she sold out after the whole unionization rant. Oh, you're selling out. How could you leave the WWE after all they've done for you? Like, y'all sound ignorant. Seriously. Sorry, not sorry, but y'all sound ignorant. These people should be able to go where they want to go, where they can be successful and be happy. And you're pitching a fit because Bryan Danielson is going to AEW. Tough. Deal with it. If you say you're a fan, you should understand and support it. If you're truly a fan of them, instead of a freaking mark, a WWE mark, you should be able to support wherever he goes. There's also rumors about CM Punk as well. Still up in the air, nothing confirmed. CM Punk and AEW would be interesting. Could you imagine CM Punk squaring off with Colt Cabana? Now, those two have a history. CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. I mean, the matchups would be endless. But we'll see. And all those folks out there talking about Eddie Guerrero being a B plus player, I'm not gonna even entertain a single one of them. Eddie Guerrero, a B plus player. Okay, either these people are extremely deluded or just in extreme denial. Eddie Guerrero is one of the greatest wrestlers in this business. High flyer, luchador, you name it. Eddie Guerrero has built a legacy and still lives to this day and has been a pioneer in the cruiserweight division, lightweight division, you name it. A true pioneer of the business. And is not even anywhere near a B plus. He's more like an A plus. Solidified A plus player. Can't believe there's people out there disrespecting and putting disrespect on the Guerrero name. It's ridiculous. Like I said, you're either deluded or you're in extreme denial. But anyway, that's all that I have. Like I said, I do apologize. I've been coughing quite a bit. Just like I said, lost my voice from all the loud screaming and cheering from last night's event. So still recovering from that. And I know this video is late because, I've been out of town. But I wanted to make sure I got it in. But hopefully hopefully this week they can get more of the stuff uploaded on Stardom World so I can get caught up on that. And yeah, like I said, I will be at AEW's Fight for the Fallen this Wednesday in Charlotte, North Carolina. So maybe you can spot me. But anyway, let me know what y'all's thoughts are on all that we talked about. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any video. Thank you so much for watching and for your patience and understanding. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram of Blitzball Champ Gaming signing off for this episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. Hope everybody has a blessed week, and I will hopefully see y'all soon. Salute and good night.